Welcome to In the Mood to Scrap. This is Christina Nicolai White. In this week's video, I am going to show you how I made this mini album using 4x6 photos and Project Life cards. Through the month of July, we were already working on our August theme. It's the little things. These are some of the products that we created for our digital section that were based on this theme. I was thinking a lot about the little things and what that meant to me as we were working and designing these products. As we were working on these things, I was taking a lot of photos and putting them on my Instagram account and hashtagging them. It's the little things. These are the photos that I wanted to use for this mini album that I put together. So this is the mood board that I put together for my project. It includes photos of the Midnight Core collection from the Project Life set. I was pretty sure I wanted to use the black and white combination of those cards. There's a few other things, including our own printables. You see my own Instagram thing again, and as well as an Allie Edwards layout where she used some Project Life cards and some other black and white combinations here. To get started on my mini book, I went ahead and printed out a stack of 4x6 photos. These originally I had cropped to a bigger size to be an Instagram, but I just cropped them back down to a 4x6 and pre-printed those. These are some 4x6 cards from the Midnight Core collection. There are a lot of cards in the collection that are double-sided, but there are also a few like this Hello card that are meant to just be a place card. Here's one that shows the front and the back, and that you can use them either vertically or horizontally. You could do this mini album either way also. Because this one is printed this way, I probably am going to end up covering it with another one because I don't want to have any horizontal layouts. I want everything to be vertical. So if I end up using that card, I will probably want to make sure I cover that. This is just a few more of the cards from the Midnight collection that I've picked out. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use. I know I like these colors, the black and white combination. These are a couple more that were meant to be in the front title page or the back page that I may or may not be using. I also just grabbed a few other cards from a couple different collections. This is from the Jade collection. I thought some of these cards would also make a really great mini book if you so chose. I just wanted to share a few of them with you. They've got some great little word combinations in the moment. The Project Life set really is all about documenting those special little things also. So I really thought that these cards would be perfect for that. These are from the Craft collection, the Craft Core Kit that I picked out. A couple of other great options for a project like this. Super easy and simple to grab. And these ones are from the Honey Core Kit. I love this quote, "Life is an adventure." I like how that's different depending upon if you have it horizontal or vertical. They have just some really great cards in here to use with just to make a really quick little mini album. Calendars and other little book titles with labels and things. So those are the different Project Life sets that you could use. These are also in the Project Life series collection. These are just their 4x6 cardstock packs. Each one of the core kits has some that coordinate with them. This one happens to be the Midnight collection. And these are not a real heavy cardstock weight. They're not quite the heaviest you can get, but they're a nice weight, and they're 4x6 and they match perfectly. They have the corners rounded exactly. They fit perfectly within the Project Life system. So if you know you don't want to use one of the main cards, you could easily make something like this out of one of these sets also. And they coordinate with the set, so it's perfect. I really like these grid cards. They also have some lined ones. Those would work really great for filler pages within a mini album. Another thing that you could use are the Pebbles booklets. I've used these before in the videos that I've done. They fit great in the Project Life system or any other pocket page system. They have 4x6 cards inside these. They do a lot of 3x4, but they also have some of these great 4x6 options. Most of them are horizontal like that, but you can use the back sides also. They have some great patterns on the back in case you don't like the pattern on the back of the Project Life card. You can easily just use these for their backing if you know you're not going to use the front. Sometimes there's a few cards that I don't think I would use, but they've got really great patterns on the back, and while they're already in a 4x6 format, so it makes it really easy. These are from Simple Stories, the same thing basically as the Pebbles collection. They've got great titles in both sizes that you could use, and again, you can use them for their back if you like some of the pages or the patterns on the back of the cards. Besides these cards, you also have other options like the Photo Freedom papers from Echo Park. There's a couple of different manufacturers that have cards like these 4x6 cards that come in both vertical and horizontal, meant to be cut out. You can also get them in the 3x4 sizes. There's a lot of manufacturers that are doing that. These are some stickers from that same collection from this Photo Freedom Volume 2. I may be using some of these um, stickers. They have some great little sayings on them. Another thing too would be to grab some of your great pattern paper that you love. These ones here are a combination of Travel Girl from October Afternoon and a few Elle Studio things that I snagged from my stash. They just have some really great patterns that I thought might work really well on the back side of some of those cards if I might not like them. These are our printables that we came out with for August. I know I would like to use these as the embellishments within my little album. I want it to go quick and easy, and I don't want to spend a lot of time doing too many things, so I pre-cut all of these out and punch some of these. I hope to use these to embellish all of my pages. Some of these are designed in-house by us. Some of these are designed by Marcy Penner from Hello Forever, as well as Banana Fish Studio. I plan on using binding rings in order to complete this once I have everything all set. These are a couple that we have in the store right now. I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers Big Bite hole punch, and I'm going to use a couple different kinds of adhesives. This one's from EK Success. It's like a mounting tape, and my Scotch adhesive. I am also going to use a corner rounder like this one from Fiskars in order to round my photos so that they have that similar rounded corner that is on the Project Life cards. It only took me a couple of minutes to lay out my album to decide what order I wanted my photos and my cards to go in. So I chose this card for the cover, and it has a back that I need to cover with another card. So I'm going to adhere this one there and have that label. And then these are the two photos. I will adhere them together with this card and this label on the outside going that way where it's at the top. For this one, I liked the way that looked with that composition. I will adhere these two photos together. This will appear as the next page. I'm okay. That one I'm going to adhere onto the back of that one, the card, photos that way. This one's going to be just like this, I believe, with the label at the top. Adhere these two photos together for this page. This one, I did not like the back once I got to it, so I'm going to adhere these two together, so that's how they'll appear in the album. And then on the back of this photo, I'm going to use this card as the back of my album. Now that I have it all set and collated, I want to take the time to go ahead and round the corners. I'm just going to turn this because this one has 4 different ways in which I could actually use this punch, and I want to make sure I choose the right corner rounder, the right size on here. Now I did a little test on here to see if I push this all the way in there, it will leave a funny jagged edge like this, and so I don't want to push it all the way in. I realized that it has the guides on the side, these little orange wings, but I still wasn't quite satisfied with the way it punched exactly as I wanted to. So I found that the best way to do this was just to line it up and to eyeball this myself and to line it up with the metal inside. That way I got the most exact punch that I wanted. I'm just going to go ahead and do all 4 corners of this particular photo and then just test it to see that it all worked out and that they still line up exactly with the card and that there isn't any jagged edges and that I'm satisfied with how that's going to look. And if there is, you can always just trim it with your scissors if you need to. Now that I've got all of my corners rounded on all of my photos and everything's already set, I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of these pages together. On this first one, I'm just going to use my Scotch adhesive. I'm just going to make sure that I put the adhesive along the outside edge as close as possible. I don't want any of the edges to curl up or to ever catch on something and come up in time. And then I'm just going to do another in the center just to make sure that it is nice and adhered. And excuse me while I lean over here, I just want to make sure I get my lines as very clean as possible, and so everything is exact and straight. Nothing's hanging over the edges. And I like it. It's pretty clean. I feel like it's also a really strong bond. I'm just kind of testing it to make sure that that's going to work out okay and that the adhesive is exactly strong. And then I'm also just going to show you what I do with this mounting tape. It's really your preference, which one you prefer. I think the mounting tape probably gives you the strongest adhesive adherence. And if you're at all concerned about humidity or something catching on it or getting a lot of use, this might be the route that you want to go. It's pretty easy to use. It's a really thick tape. Once you adhere it down like this, you have to cut it and then pick up and find the film. I can get it. There we go. And pull that off. And it leaves a pretty thick mounting tape there. Then I'm going to, once I've got this side peeled off, so there we go. It's off now. I'm going to do the same on the top and the bottom. This will be a really strong adhesive. I won't need to put anything in the center. I feel like this is pretty permanent. There isn't going to be any chance that this is going to come up or pull up at the corners or anything. I think you could really go either way with either adhesive, whichever one you have or whichever that you're most comfortable with. You could even use a glue stick if that's what you're most comfortable with. I'm choosing this one for the photos just so that they don't curl with any kind of humidity. The paper, I will probably use the Scotch all the way through and just use this really thick adhesive to keep my photos together. It's a little tricky sometimes, and it definitely is not going to come off. And as you can see, sometimes the film, you just have to catch it just right. There we go. And then again, I'm just going to make sure I have my photos exactly the same, and then line them up as closely as I possibly can, and back to back there, and make sure the adhesive is nice and strong. And test again the edges, and it seems nice and strong, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and do all the rest of them. Once I have everything adhered and ready to go, I'm going to clip it together using these office clips. I'm going to use my big bite here to punch hole in all of it together. You wouldn't need to do this all together, but not since I am going to do it all together with one big hole punch. I want to make sure that everything is lined up exactly and that nothing is sticking out. None of the pages are askew in any way. I'm going to go ahead and measure so I know exactly where I want them, my holes, and so that they're exactly the same place, equidistant. I'm going to use my ruler to do 1.5 inches in from the top and then 1/2 inch in. So I'm pretty sure that's where I want them to be. I think it's pretty equal. It's a kind of a nice size. On something like this, I'm going to measure exactly that spot and make a little cross with my pencil. If you don't have something like this big bite that you want to use just a regular hole punch, you can easily do that as well. You just need to make sure that you measure on each page to make sure that they are exactly the same. So when you line them up after you've punched the holes in each individual page, that your holes are in the right place. I've drawn them in pencil, and I'm a little concerned I'm not going to be able to see them with the glare in my office, so I'm going to just put them on there with some pen. They're going to be punched out with the thing anyway. So I've got this on the setting that allows for the biggest hole punch. You can change the setting to different sizes, but I want to make sure that it's on the bigger size to make the bigger hole punch. And you can see you can punch some pretty thick things with this. I've even punched through leather. So I'm just going to line it up and get it so that I have exactly where I want it to be, kind of moving it around a little bit. I think I've got that lined up right over where I made the cross. And I'm going to set it back down on the desk and use both hands and squeeze really hard. And it goes through the entire stack, which is awesome. That way I don't have to do each page individually. And you can see it leaves quite a big divot when it sends all the paper out. I'm going to go ahead and punch the second punch the same way. Make sure I get this lined up just right over where I made my mark, that cross with my pen. And once I've got that set, I just want to make sure I grip it and got it right there. Set it on the table, use both hands, give it a nice big crunch. And just like that, I've got all my holes punched. Nice and simple and easy. Clean that up. I'm going to just test it really quickly with a couple of these rings. Make sure they fit through the hole. These ones might be just slightly too big. They may not, I may not need this much room for the small album. If you had more pages, this is the perfect size, or if you know you're going to put bulky items inside like flair, I think this is perfect. I'm just going to take these clips off and allow these pages to flow freely so I can make sure that this all lined up just right. Open it up. Everything works out great. Nice and quick and easy. Page through it. Everything turns, all the holes worked out perfectly, and I'm going to go on to doing some embellishing. So I spent probably about 5 to 10 minutes embellishing these cards and these photos. I had my stack of the 2-piece printables all set and just picked out ones that I thought went best with my photos and adhered them in place. I added a few enamel dots here and there for some quick extra embellishment and just a couple of flair. You could easily add some journaling if you wanted to, some dates or a quick date stamp if you want to. Otherwise, it can be just as simple as this. A small stack of photos, a couple of extra project life cards, and a few embellishments, and you've got it. This was Christina Nicolai White for 2 Peas in a Bucket. Thanks for watching.